Well, what's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for being part of Joe Boo's day job. I'm still working on here on the workshop, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update. I still have to do work in here because I have orders that need to go out and stuff. So if you look over here, you can see I've got some of our Joe Bardys that are just about ready to be assembled. I'll assemble those tomorrow. Michael will be back, and he can get those out. And in the meantime, I'm still working here. So some of the things that I got accomplished yesterday and today is I've gone through and I've actually moved this ducks collection pipe right here. This is a 5-inch main that comes off of an 8-inch over there. It wires out and it branches to 2 5-inches, and then it branches to 2 4-inches. So that way in each section of the workshop I actually have dust collection stuff. Now I've done a couple of things. I've actually taken the bandsaw, which used to be kind of sitting out catty-cornered in the floor, and I've got it tight on the wall, so that's giving me a little more space walk-wise here, and it's actually making, again, I've got so much stuff everywhere, it's actually making it so I've got more space here. There's also a bar that come on each side of this so you can use the rip fence, but I never use the rip fence on there. Whenever I've needed to use a rip fence, I've actually made a taller one because I'm resawing, and that small one just doesn't do it. And I'm never cutting anything out here that wide. And now that I'm getting the Inventables, I'll never be doing anything like doing circular pieces of things. But what that's done is now it's clear all the way through here with the shaper. Now the shaper is actually on a base with wheels. So when I need to do long molding and stuff, I can pull that forward, and then I can go all the way across here. So I can actually run 9-foot long pieces of molding on here, which is great to work with. So I got that squared away. You can see down here, I just glued up a butcher block that's going to be going out. But when you start over, you realize some of the mistakes that you've made in the past, and you figure out ways of making things better. And that's where I am right now. I have made mistakes before. I haven't done anything different in this workshop for about 15 years. It's been the same. So now that I'm older, I have more talents and things, I'm doing things a little bit different. And one of the things I realize is when I build stuff, this is really my assembly area. It's the outfeed table for the table saw. So you can see the fence and everything over there, and the saw blade. You see I've got the miter saw sitting up here. But the outfeed table becomes my workbench. Now I've built the cabinet. I haven't made the drawers and things for that yet, but I assemble everything here. I'll stain pieces here. I'll glue up the butcher blocks. And if you remember what the original top looked like, it was originally a white piece of Formica with oak around it. And it was, you could see, almost like an archaeological dig. You could see all the different colors of the stain and the glue marks and everything else. So I figured, let me move the wood right there. What I would do is, I have a roll of rosin paper. Unfortunately, it's 36 inches long, so it was a little bit longer than what I needed to be able to fit here. But what I did was I basically made like a paper towel rack on steroids. So that way, when I'm going to be doing something that's messy, I can go ahead and pull a sheet of the paper out. And then when I'm done, let's see. I can just tear that off, throw that in the trash, and now my workbench is still pristine. No glue on it, no stain on it or anything like that. So that's one of those things that I've learned. Also too, I ended up doing something else over here too. I went to Woodcrafters, I got a couple other fittings and things, but I've actually put this one here, a 2.5 inch outlet here for the Inventable, so that way I can do all my dust collection there. But I'm going to get another one of these, and I'm going to put them in various locations, so that way I can plug in my hose, and I can use that to vacuum the floor. So I'll put one over there. I'll probably put one over here as well, because this is actually pretty cool, because with the hose on it, I can reach all the way across the shop here and really be able to clean it up good. And I think what I'll do when I do that is I'll put like a hose rack on there, so that way I can just kind of hang it there and leave it there. I may end up just keeping a couple of those that are there on the ready. It's got a blast gate, so you're not wasting any air. Unless you're using it, you pull the gate open. And I've since gotten the ones hooked up to the table saw. Okay, so that's the first part. Now let's go over here on the other side. Walk with me here. And I've still got a ways to go. I haven't had as much time today as I would have liked. You can see over here, the great thing was I deal with Heritage Hardwoods. Heritage Hardwoods is basically a huge lumber company. I met Mark and, oh, I can't remember the other guy's name, about 30 years ago. I used to buy scrap wood when they used to have a place in Woodbridge. They hence partnered up with A&M Supply and ended up building Heritage Hardwoods. And when you go there, they have tons and tons of hardwoods, and they sell the hardwoods to all over the place. Well, the cool thing is what you see over there, that wood that's up there, there's maple, there's cherry, there's walnut, and there's mahogany. And it's about 100 board feet that I bought. It cost me about $500, which sounds like a lot. But when I was at Woodcrafters today, I saw a 1x8 maple board that was maybe 10 feet long that was $88. So I started thinking, maybe I should be selling my lumber to you guys to sell, because I could make a killing selling to you guys. But be that as it may. So far what I've done, I've gotten the tabletop here. I've actually put an oak edge on around it. I'm going to round it over tomorrow. It's still wet and things. I've also got down here, these are 500 pounds per foot adjustable casters. So we want to make sure that all of this stuff here is level when we have the Inventables on here. And it's going to make and help me to be able to adjust it. Basically use an Allen key to raise and lower it if you need to. I've made this a little bit oversized because I'm trying to make this a complete work center. So I still have to decide. If we take the fence all the way out, we can get 29 inches of space, which is great to be able to ring. But that means I'm going to lose more floor space. If I go to 24, then I can cut it right here. If I decide I want to have a couple extra inches, it just means that this all has to shift. I'm still playing in my mind what I want to do on that. If I want to lose a couple more inches or not and keep it on the table saw, I don't know. But we've got now, the planer is situated well. We've got it hooked up to the dust collector. We can still reach down in here to get to the crank to crank it up and down. We got the power switch and stuff right here. We can reach it, and we have an opening over here so that way we can get the wood out. So it's situated really well. Tomorrow I'll actually divide the cabinet up and I'll start building drawers that'll go in there so that way I can keep materials. One last point, the planer actually has 2 feed speeds to it, and the way you change the speed on it has to be on, and there's like a clutch that's on the side down here. I've actually never changed the speed in all the years I've used it, but if I ever do, I actually have a spot underneath the cabinet that's open up so you can actually get down there to change that. So we're trying to think ahead of ways to maximize what we're able to do. The thing that I have to realize is having the Inventables, depending on how easy it is for me to use, is going to change a lot of the things that I do. A lot of the tools that I currently use, I may not use very often, so I have to start thinking about that when we start talking about space. For example, I will use the workbench over here and the table saw table, and I can go ahead and take a full 8-foot sheet of plywood and cut it crossways. So that's why I had extended the table so that way I could get 34.5, which would be your base cabinets. I won't need to do that anymore because I'll be able to do that with the Inventables. It can be just like a rated arm saw that can go 48 inches. And it will be a clean cut because it's a router blade as opposed to having the tear out for the rated arm saw. But we'll still be using, of course, solid wood, so there still is a need for it. Having this extension table the way it is, it's supporting things really, really well, so that works good, and so on. The bandsaw, like I said, moving it tighter to the wall. More than likely, the pieces for the Joe Bardys will be being cut on here automatically as opposed to me cutting it on the bandsaw. because of course the bandsaw, it gets a little bit of tear out and things. It's not exact, and then I got to go through and sand it. So some of the things that are here may become more obsolete and used very rarely. For example, if I want to do like some different designs, raised panel doors, I can do them out of MDF and have the machine playing all kinds of different profiles and stuff in them, and then basically do the painting on there. So it'll be interesting to see as I get used to using this, how the workshop evolves in here. So that's the latest of where we are right now. They said that it's 1 to 2 weeks for delivery on the Inventables. Today is week 1, so sometime in the next 7 days it's supposed to be here, and I'm going to be ready for it. One other thing I may do is I may build in, like, into the cabinets a couple of outlets, so that way I can plug things in at different locations to make it easy to keep using it. Other than that, that's all we got right now. I'm Mark Holmes, and well, I appreciate you guys coming into my messy workshop that hopefully won't be messy for much longer. I'll see you soon.